In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the Toronto Raptors versus the San Antonio Spurs. This was a game that I thought would be very close, but the Raptors absolutely demolished the Spurs. So let's get down and let's check out how they were able to do this. Okay, so first off, the Spurs offense is a great offense. They always try to get the ball into the paint, kick it out, swing. It's a very simple offense. However, the Raptors have such huge length that they can disrupt passes on defensive assignments, and then they can transition from defense to offense very easily. They also move the ball extremely well. Here we're having a back screen for the wing, and then that back screener, Scottie Barnes, is able to pop out for that three-point shot. See, with plays like this, what happens is the man who's screening, his defender will come off and try to hedge or disallow the pass to that first option. So the second option that's usually open is that screener popping for that three-point shot. And then when it comes to rebounds and defense and steals, the Raptors transition to offense really well. If we rewind right here, they get that turnover, they get that steal. He doesn't dribble right away. The first thing he does is he looks up court to pass the ball. Now, he led the pass just a bit too much to Pascal Siakam, but Siakam was able to get the assist to Scottie Barnes. The other thing that's great about the Raptors, especially in this game, is they always look for the headman in transition. They always try to get that ball ahead for easy baskets. And then they have trailers, as we see here in Gary Trent Jr., where if the post was cut off, they'd be able to kick the ball out for a three or at least swing it around and set up an offense. They also are a little bit different than how most coaches will teach basketball. Most coaches will say, get that ball up the middle, whether you dribble it and that man fills that wing or whatever, but instead they have quick set plays where if you're in transition, you're dribbling the ball up the wing, the point man comes and sets a screen for that wingman, in this case Gary Trent Jr., and because Scottie Barnes is so good at sealing his man, watch what he does here. After he sets that screen, he slightly pushes off to make sure that that man's balance is not leaning towards his side, which then allows him to get the whole entire lane open for the dunk. In this case, we get the defensive rebound. Pascal Siakam tips it essentially to himself, and then the first thing he does is he's scanning the court. There's two players who are ahead of him. And the Raptors' strategy is to get that ball passed to the headman. In this case, it was Scottie Barnes, and Scottie Barnes was able to finish with a dunk. The Raptors' strategy also is to attack the paint, collapse the defense. Look at that, 5 players on Pascal Siakam, who's then able to kick that ball out to Banton for that three-point shot. If you're a player who can attack the rim really strong and you can collapse the defense like this, you're going to have 1, 2, and 3 guys open, sometimes even more. So you have to understand that if you collapse the defense, the first option you should take is the kick out for the 3. And this is what I'm basically saying with their length. With the fact that the Raptors, if we look at this photo alone or this screenshot alone, there is not one player on the Raptors roster who's under 6'6". That's Gary Trent Jr. He's 6'5" or 6'6", depending on the source that you get your info from. Everyone else is over that height, which means that they can pick off these passes extremely easily, get into transition. Here we have essentially a 4-on-2 situation, and of course lead it to the headman for that layup. And again, we see it once again, another steal, and then a bomb down court. And now it's a 2-on-1 situation where now the only option is a basket. Because if we rewind, the first thing you should do off of a steal is to look down court. Look at your options down court and to get them the ball. Lead them with the pass. Don't try to pass to them. Pass to where they are running or where you want them to run. And then they can finish very easily. The Raptors also have these really interesting plays that we can see right here, where now the man who's going to score, watch his defender. He gets screened once, they call for a switch. He gets screened twice, they call for a switch yet again. Now, that man's going to fight through. In my opinion, he's a brave man because that would have been a better matchup there. But now Pascal Siakam can go against a mismatch, a huge height advantage, and score very easily. With teams that like to switch everything, and there was really no reason to do so because this was a fresh shot clock, essentially fresh at 16 seconds. You really only want to switch everything under 8 seconds on the shot clock. Before then, you want to try and fight through the screens. Because what's going to happen, and the reason why teams will set screens is so that you do call these switches, so that you do get these mismatches, because now you're going to have a weaker or a mismatched defender by setting those screens. That's why you set screens. It's not just to get open, it's to be able to get mismatches. This would have been a mismatch here, but this would have been a much more suitable defender for Pascal Siakam instead of this short guy who ended up having to be forced to guard the guy. And Pascal, he's giving up 4 inches to Pascal plus another probably 4 or 5 on wingspan. That's an 8-inch difference, 9-inch difference, and that shot is going to get off every single time. There's nothing that guy can do to try to block that. I really like how Gary Trent Jr. works defenders. So watch this. His man decides not to use the dribble handoff, but instead to cut backdoor because Gary Trent is kind of overplaying his man. Well, instead of trying to chase his man and stay with him, he just says, forget about it. I've got 3 help defenders here who can deal with that guy. I'm going to go and try to steal the ball before this guy gets to pass the ball to my man. So then, by going in and getting that steal quick, while that man is thinking about passing, you can then go the other direction and get some dunks. And I think this is going to be the theme all year, and that is what we are seeing in this game. The Raptors are extremely long and really hard to try to pass the ball around with or against. And a lot of these passes all season will be getting picked off, and they will be leading to some easy baskets, as we've seen in this game. The other thing with the Raptors is because they're all pretty much the same height, if you start taking away Fred VanVleet and Malachi Flynn, is the fact that when the other team switches, you're going to get continuous mismatches because their height and their speed, and they're all able to handle the ball. You're going to get these easy jump stop layups where players just fly right by you because they just cannot time what you're about to do. And we see this over and over and over again, always looking for the lead man, the head man, and all game easy dunks. This is why the score was such a blowout. And now with players like Delano Banton able to pull up for 3-point shots as we've seen here, this is looking like a very dangerous team that a lot of analysts are not accounting for in their expectations. Like, here's another pass picked off. These teams, the San Antonio Spurs and pretty much every other team that plays against the Raptors, are going to need to do a lot better passes. These passes right here will not work. Even a fake pass is not going to work against a player who is as long as pretty much any of these guys who are on the court. There's 5 guys on this court right now where a fake pass or even these lob passes will not work. And because the Raptors always look for the lead man who has the open lane to the basket, and there's players who know how to box their guys out, that will allow for a lot of easy dunks all game long. And that's why this score is so lopsided. And then when they don't look for the lead pass right away, right here we have Precious Achiuwa trying to get down court as fast as possible. He has options, but he decides, I'm just going to get to the rim anyways because I'm just so much faster than the other team. The reason why they're faster while they're big is because look how long their steps are. The longer your steps, the more faster you're gonna be. And this is why the score was 143-100. Make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book down in the description below if you're looking for a killer defense to be able to win games like that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.